Yes?
No, I will discover. ChatGPT told me to come here.
Oh.
The weather can change from one minute to another. So it reminds me like social media algorithms, right? On one day, you push your content, on the next one, you're just stuck. Everything kind of comes with a trade-off. How much level of customization do I actually need? And how much just gets the 80-20 done?
And the problem is like when you're downgrading, you always compare to the things that you had and that you suddenly don't have anymore. There's this concept that I like, which is I just landed in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. My initial plan was to go almost off the grid on an island for a week or two. But I decided to change my plans and fix my broken back instead, or at least trying to fix it. So in this vlog, I'm going to show you how I stay organized while traveling, some of my favorite ways to do mental resets, and how I keep my business running in 45 minutes a day. The flight from the UAE to Kuala Lumpur is going to be about 7 hours. And the first thing I do when I book such a long trip is to find a night flight, because sleeping makes the trip feel shorter. But that's not the only thing that I look for, because since I'm 6'2", I also need leg room.
It was a little bit of legwork to actually find this out. So first of all, I just tried to understand, okay, like what is kind of the aircraft. So I'm going to fly on Air Arabia, and so it's an Airbus 321 Neo, and I went over and double checked seat maps, and basically it gives you a little bit more information, right? So I just scrolled down to 17, and I found that 17 is the one that has the biggest pitch, which is 36, versus 32 for even like the first rows.
So it turns out Seat Guru was right, but the trip was just a real pain in the back. The reason is that Air Arabia is considered a low-cost carrier. And you might be asking, why didn't you choose Emirates or Qatar Airways or any other of the regular carriers? The reason is that, first of all, I wanted a direct flight. And number two is that I've been flying on Emirates for over a decade. And I just noticed that their service and the value dropped massively. So I just wanted to try out something new. There wasn't any indication about how long we've been flying and where we precisely are on a map. And that made me think about the fact that when you're creating content, you need to provide some kind of map to your clients. You need to actually show them exactly where they are, what to expect, and how long this journey is going to take. So especially when it's getting started, I just like to say that, hey, you need to give yourself kind of a 2-year runway, right? Nothing is going to happen overnight. And not only do you want to give your clients some indications, but you also want them to understand that there is a process that they should follow, exactly as in an airport. You get off the plane, you walk a little bit more, and then you walk a little bit more just to make sure that you get your 10,000 steps before even hitting the city center. You go through immigration, grab your bags, and then you grab a taxi. The interesting thing about Kuala Lumpur is that accommodation, compared to other capital cities, is cheap. This king suite came roughly at $100 per night. But the first thing that I actually do is to make sure that there are no bed bugs. 2 years back, I got infested with these, and I had to throw away the whole apartment. Okay, and then by tomorrow, basically, I'm going to launch, or I'm going to at least work on some special on a few offers on my catalog. It's going to be about newsletters. So I need to sit down tomorrow and just kind of find a bandwidth to make that special. So I initially planned that special for last week, but somehow I thought that I need to kind of think about the deal again and perhaps write some kind of sales page for it. So probably going to sit down tomorrow and I'm going to show you the process. Obviously for you, it's going to be in just a few because it's the vlog, but yeah, that's basically the plan for next week. Not going to work on any sort of product or so, but just kind of a special for products that I already have. So yeah. One of the coolest things about working online is that your entire business model can fit in a backpack. That's why I'm actually such a fan of writing, because text is simple. You don't need crazy bandwidth. You could even write everything offline and then simply copy and paste when you're connected. And what I find kind of stupid is when people travel halfway across the world just to stay locked inside their condo like they never left home. When I'm traveling, I just like to take some time off. And there are basically two options that you can use. So number one is simply batching everything in advance and disappearing. So done that in the past. So basically what you could do is You could simply repurpose old emails, recycle a launch, write just your content in advance. It might take you 3 to 5 hours and you simply let things run on autopilot. The second option is the option that I've chosen for this trip, is to simply dial down my usual content production. So I normally write an email a day and launch a course every month, but I just dial things down. So I simply committed to write my daily emails. And that's basically one of the great benefits of being prolific, is that it gives you the freedom. So I like to work in the mornings, go for breakfast, and then simply start the day. I spend most of my days driving to the chiropractor, icing my back, and walking in the city and in the jungle.
Yeah? Okay.
The only problem I forgot is, like, in Malaysia, it's really hard to find knives because people eat with spoons and forks, but they don't use knives. So right now I'm at the local grocery store and I'm unable to find knives. So you just need to adapt. I'm in a second grocery store right now. Here we have the knife. So you'll be able to eat the mangoes. Oh, here we have a second one. The other thing that I needed this morning was kind of a scissor, but right now I'm just thinking, like, hey, I already have the knife. So why buy a scissor if I already have a knife? And if the knife can actually do the job? It was like kind of the same thing. Like, sometimes you just need to make choices. Like when you have something that does the job, you actually don't need to buy 2 tools for one job. It's exactly the same thing online, right? Just have the ice pack, please.
Ice.
You require another chair or how?
So the guy from the reception actually went to actually pick up the ice bags. Interesting thing is that, you know, it's like, just relax, like, take it slowly. It's kind of the Asian mentality. And, you know, as Westerners, like, sometimes you just want to get things done as quick as possible. So, you know, sometimes it's just like better just to kind of take a kind of laid back and easy approach to things, right? You're just not in a hurry. It's going to happen, but, you know, slowly. At first I got annoyed at this, but lower stress, I think, and also fewer problems, right? Just take it easy. Just not sure where the guy is. He lost himself. Just hearing him laugh, so I think he's just having a good time. I really think that content creation should be part of your day, simply as much as eating, you know, doing some mental or some physical activity, simply because it's just mental activity for your brain. And this morning I was had some struggles with kind of working in the mornings also as I'm on travel, but just after a week I just kind of found the right balance. And what happened is that it was actually great to write something today, and yeah, like that was also basically my goal when it comes to you know, creating content and writing my articles. It's like perhaps not doing, you know, some kind of daily content creation when it comes to Substack, etc., but really doing some kind of at least 5 days a week kind of thing. Simply because it just really kind of keeps your brain sharp. One of the main issues as a Westerner when you're visiting Southeast Asia is food. So almost everything is spicy. So I ask ChatGPT to give me restaurants where they don't serve spicy food, and it came up with this. I don't like to criticize food because there are people who don't have anything to eat. So I was grateful for what I had, but it wasn't really up to my expectations. Okay, so I'm out for a quick evening walk, and this morning basically I wrote an email about the fact that I'm going to tune down a bit content creation during my days here. And basically it brings me back to one simple conclusion, is that in your business journey, it's really like as you as a human, like going through different phases, right? You know, usually, you know, when you reach, let's say, your 30s or your 40s, you want a little bit more stability, you want a little bit more freedom, you want a little bit more this or more that. And it's exactly the same thing in business. So when you're just getting started, you just need growth. You just need to focus on audience growth. So you're just going to create a bunch of content that will help you attract your audience. Kind of building your back end, right, with with products, with offers, with different things, and then basically you can then just kind of adjust and play around with the dials a bit. If let's say you're not in a stage where you need massive audience growth, you also have kind of a back end of products that you can use, then can just dial down content creation. I mean, just to kind of keep it at the minimum, perhaps just sitting down 1 to 2 hours a week, simply scheduling your emails or your social media posts. So it's really kind of the exact same thing right here. So for my main medium is email. So I just sat down this morning for, let's say, 45 minutes, wrote a few emails. I'm going to do a second half tomorrow morning, and that's it. And I'm done with my emails this week. And then if I feel like it, simply to continue writing articles on Substack, because these have been working quite good for me over the past days. So yeah, that's really how you want to design your business around, right? And you just also want to treat your business, as I mentioned, in such a way that you acknowledge that there are different phases, and different phases simply require different things to focus on.
So I just downgraded my room because initially I took a king suite for 2 days, and then depending on how long I'm going to stay, I just plan to make some adjustments. So the issue that I made is that I actually booked the king suite, right? And this morning I got downgraded to a king size room. And the problem is, like, when you're downgrading from something, you always compare to the things that you had and that you suddenly don't have anymore. So there's this concept that I like, which is keeping your life as simple as possible, so that whenever you need to downgrade, in case in the future, like, you won't get impacted by that. So the king suite the king room is great, but compared to the king suite, it's not as great.
So the interesting thing about the weather in Southeast Asia can change from one winter to another. So I just went outside for 15 minutes without umbrella, and now I'm stuck. So been waiting 20 minutes just to see if the rain goes away, but it doesn't. So reminds me like social media algorithms, right? So on one day they push your content, on the next one you're just stuck. So just have to deal with it. Part of Malaysia do you suggest to visit?
Inside Malaysia, what type of vacation you need? You want to relaxing, you want food,
Yeah, relaxing.
you want beach.
I don't want a lot of people.
Okay, a lot of people, I suggest Borneo, Sabah.
Not
Yeah.
many people there.
No, there's not many people because the big
island
over there, and
Yeah.
the big island there.
Big island, yeah.
They call it Pulau Simpadan.
Oh, okay.
Maybe for me it's of top 5 in the world.
Really, really?
See, beautiful beach.
You went there?
Yeah, I went there.
Really?
I go to the Pulau Kapalai in the Simpadan there.
Okay.
Pulau Simpadan, the small island is Pulau Kapalai.
Okay.
They have a resort outside in the water.
You go straight there, or you have to go to Kota Kinabalu first, or how?
Yeah, maybe you need to go straight to the Tawau. They call it Tawau, and then
Tawau, okay. Got it.
you need car from Tawau, maybe about 2 or 3 hours. Go to Pulau Simpadan from Tawau.
But this you take a ferry something?
No ferry, just a small boat, speedboat.
Speedboat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I go to Pulau Redang, Pulau Langkawi, Pulau Tioman. That's good, but cannot compare with
this one.
Yeah. Yeah, you know this place?
No.
Taman Tugu.
No, I will discover.
Oh.
ChatGPT told me to come here.
Oh.
I ask it. Okay, I want to walk in a natural environment, and it's going to be hot because I'm going to go at midday. So I want something with shadow. It told me like there is shadow when you walk right here. I don't know if it's true or not.
Oh.
You know?
I don't know. I have been there, but I never walked inside there.
I will see if ChatGPT is right or not. You use ChatGPT?
I don't download that.
Okay.
It's good, isn't it?
Depends.
Depends.
If you know what you're asking, it can be good, but you still have to assess by yourself, lah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's just lying.
Yeah, you cannot trust 100%.
You cannot trust the machine 100%.
Yeah.
It's like human.
Yeah.
Human also you cannot trust 100%, right?
Yeah.
Same
It's not
thing.
a machine.
It's the same thing. So I will see. It told me like, it gave me like 5 options, and it told me this one is the best one if you want to walk at midday time. And if it's bad, I just need to give it a thumbs down.
GPT. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I just to the bathroom. Not too bad. Surprisingly, Tamantugu was a great ChatGPT suggestion. So there was plenty of shade, and the conversation with a taxi was quite interesting because he actually gave me a nugget that ChatGPT did not suggest and probably won't suggest. The reason is that you can only get these kind of insider information from insiders, right? From people who've actually visited and from locals, right? The reason why AI cannot resurface that is because AI works in terms of probabilities, which means that it's trained on a lot of data, and based on that data, it actually predicts what's the most obvious or the most common thing, right? So if you're only looking for common stuff, AI can help. But if you want the insider information and if you want the gems, then you just need to talk to an insider. And this is why I think content creation is just a great opportunity right now in the age of AI, because it will reward those who share insider information. But there was one thing ChatGPT didn't mention. Now you can actually rest here. The hardest part were the stairs, basically. It wasn't actually the trail itself, the stairs. Damn stairs. I'm eating exactly the same thing every day for several reasons. Number one, that's the only kind of local food that I like. Might sound a little bit stupid, but you know, people come here for food tourism. But I just found that I just don't like Asian food. I like Asian fruits, but not Asian food. So yeah, that's one thing. Second thing is it just kind of preserves my bandwidth. So I don't have to take a new decision every day. So and simply ask, hey, what is this? Hey, what is that? Right? So yeah, that's basically my order for today, which is tandoori chicken and a garlic naan, and that's it. Here is that people don't really cook a lot at home, at least from my understanding, and I see them eating breakfast in the morning outside. Then basically they have the lunch break at work, and then in the evening when they go back, they simply buy something at the mamak or somewhere else. So basically they're not really cooking much at home. So perhaps it's just some kind of reheating kind of job, but that's basically it. And there is a good and a bad thing about it. Like, the good thing is that you're saving yourself the time of having to prep your own meal. On the other thing, like, you don't really know like what really goes into what you're eating. So no way that I could find some kind of antibiotic free chicken or that kind of thing in such a store. So the main point I want to drive home right here is that everything kind of comes with a trade-off. So you simply want to be aware of the trade-offs. It's exactly the same thing when you are, you know, creating content, when you're running your own business. Like, okay, like how much level of customization do I actually need, and how much just gets the 80-20 done? So it took me a lot of time to actually figure this out, and right now all I want is enough customization really boiling it down to the important things that I need without going into over sophistication, and really keeping things as simple, as clean, and as lightweight as possible. Because the more tool you stack up, the more complex your system is going to be, the more complex your business is going to be. So if, let's say, you're using 532 different tools, if just one tool breaks, like, your whole system collapses. And that's why sometimes you also need to embrace imperfection. So what do I mean by imperfection? Imperfection to be aware and accept the fact that not everything is going to be 100% perfect and at the level of customization that you want. But again, like, the question you need to ask yourself, like, does it get the job done? Sometimes you worry about things that aren't really important. So I can give you a quick example. A few years back, I was actually obsessed by finding a learning management platform that allows me to understand, okay, when people actually finish the course or not. But I found out with the years that it's not the most important feature that you should look for when picking your LMS. And the reason is because why they actually wanted this feature is so that I can actually trigger an automation with Zapier to send a specific email when people completed the course, like asking for a testimonial, just see how the course actually went. First of all, most people actually don't reply to these emails. And second, you could just simply have some kind of lesson that just simply asks for the same thing. So all this to say, sometimes what you really need to do is you need to simplify, and you just need to stop overthinking and then just, start taking action. That's really what it's all about. Ayam tandoori dada satu. Urut chennai dua.
Chennai dua. Camera.
Like this? Okay.
Okay. What is this? Camera.
When you go into jungle.
Oh.
And you? India?
India, South India.
South India. Kerala?
Kerala, Japan, and Tamil Nadu.
Okay, so now you might be asking yourself, hey, why do you order your dinner in Malay? Why are you speaking in such a weird way when talking to others? The reason is that I simply want to talk in such a way so that people can actually understand me. This is way more effective than just trying to be grammatically correct. And it's exactly the same thing when creating content. You simply want to express yourself in such a way that your target audience actually understands you. Okay, so I have my return flight in about 6 hours from now, which means that we are going to leave the hotel in 2 hours. So I'm just for a quick and short last walk, because obviously I have 7 hours of flight. So yeah, just getting some more steps in. So eventually then I'm going to hit the 10K steps before jumping onto the plane. So 5 hours here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Very interesting idea that I found here is like the mid-year sale. So basically everything could be a pretext for a special or a sale. I know one of my clients actually has a specific health package, and you can actually wrap that same package into different formats. So it could be an autumn checkup, it could be a spring checkup, it could be a winter checkup, it could be a summer checkup, it could be literally anything that you want. It could be a mid-year checkup. So always kind of interesting to think about, for a product that you have or some kind of services that you can wrap into a different name, but simply to kind of match the season, or simply use it as a pretext to simply run a promo or a special in your product catalog. But for that, obviously, you need some product. So you definitely don't want to simply work on, let's say, audience building and then not having any catalog. And at the same time, you just don't want to work on creating a lot of products and not having an audience. So this is why you need to do two things at the same time. So the interesting thing is that, there are cameras everywhere in the city. So it's something that I definitely didn't see last time I came, but this is interesting because yeah, I think in terms of security it's definitely a plus, but you know, everything comes with kind of a downside. So but it's been very interesting to actually see these cameras, and I don't know if you can see it, but there is another camera just right there also. So a lot of cameras. Okay, so now you might be asking, hey Matt, what happened to your bag and how was the treatment? Well, truth is, this is not going to be an instant fix. It's probably going to take a few months, so probably several back and forth. But again, as I mentioned several times in this vlog, the interesting thing of running an online business is that you can actually run it from everywhere. And I have to admit that I'm a workaholic, even though I only work in the mornings. I probably work every single day simply because I just enjoy what I'm doing. And I really think that variety is kind of an important factor and something that you want to bake into your lifestyle. So I love having my routine because they simply allow me to save bandwidth so that I can focus 100% on what I'm doing. But I also like variety. I also like when things get shaken up because it allows your brain to reset, right? Find new ideas, discover new things. All this to say, when you have a portable business, when you have a business that you can run from a laptop and a Wi-Fi, you're free to design your life however you want to design it.